guy who was giving us, $75 to drive across the country. It's like, hi, we're Metallica. Hi, I'm Johnny Z. Well, John, come here. Well, you see the guy with that Dave Mustaine? We're actually going to get rid of him next week. Whoa.
That trip was very detrimental to my leaving the band. When we would get drunk, they would get silly and I would get really violent. And violent people and silly people don't mix when they're inebriated.
They came to the East Coast, hungry with a goal and a mission. We were ready to guide their career. We had shows for them, but we were not people of means. And they wanted to rehearse, and they wanted to play. But we said, what are we going to do? So Anthrax had a place, a little rehearsal place in Queens.
We set him up with a room at this place, the Music Building in Jamaica, Queens, which was basically what would be now considered like a crack house.
We had the added luxury of also living there because we couldn't afford to live anywhere else.
We had a toaster oven and an igloo cooler that we lived out of, all four of us in this place.
On a good day, we would sneak down to a local McDonald's. On a bad day,
it was loser's lunch, we called it. It was bologna on hand because they didn't even have white bread. I mean, nothing.
We were sleeping on U-Haul blankets, that was us. And we all got up early one morning and walked into the other room where Dave was sleeping and...
Shake, shake, shake. Dave wakes up, rolls over, and what's going on, guys?
I look up and I see the four of them. They said, you're out of the band. And I said, what, no warning? No second chance?
The famous line, Dave, you're out of the band. When's my plane leave?
You're spending the next 4 days on a Greyhound bus that leaves in 45 minutes to pack your together and let's go to the bus station before you even know what hit you. And that was that.
Tan pronto Dave Mustaine subió al autobús, Kirk Hammet llegaba a Nueva York para una audición con la banda.
I walked in, and those guys were sleeping, and I looked at my watch, and it was like 6 o'clock at night, and they were just getting up. And I was thinking, how rock and roll.
The first song we played was Seek and Destroy, and Kirk pulled off this solo. It was like, things are gonna be all right, man.
And we went to the studio and recorded Kill 'Em All. From then on, I thought, well, I guess I'm in the band.
We parlayed everything we had to make this Kill 'Em All record. We thought this was an amazing record. It was a classic.
We have a debut album out on Megaforce Records. It's called Kill 'Em All. We're glad to kill all you tonight. Who wants this one?
Las grabaciones underground le habían abierto el camino al primer álbum de Metallica, Kill 'Em All, y las ventas alcanzaron los 300,000 discos. En 1983, el grupo realizó una gira por Europa y Norteamérica para lanzar su álbum.
They lived it, they breathed it, they slept it, metal. And the kids did the same exact thing.
We were very proud that we were four regular guys in street clothes getting up there and jamming.
Why should we change? We're on stage. We're not trying to be something big and fancy, It's just us doing what we do. Let's keep it that way.
A continuación, un accidente fatal sacude el futuro de la banda hasta sus entrañas.
The sound of screeching brakes and being flipped around like a piece of cloth in a dryer.
Y luego una explosión casi acaba con el futuro de Metallica.
I'm going, oh my God, it's over. Oh my God, our band is done.
Y después el pandemonium en Montreal.
People just storming into the grandstands and destroying everything.
Turning over cop cars, burning everything in sight.
Cuando detrás de la música continúe. En 1984, la nueva escena del heavy metal había encontrado un campeón en Metallica. Cuando el segundo álbum de la banda, Ride the Lightning, fue lanzado por Discos Elektra, rápidamente se convirtió en oro.
Because of the buzz that they created live, it just worked out perfectly for Elektra. So it was one of those things that felt like a no-brainer. Just we put out the record, and because of word of mouth, kids just started buying it.
Su amor por la bebida se convirtió en toda una leyenda y la prensa comenzó a burlarse de ellos.
Alcoholica.
Alcoholica.
Alcoholica justified, absolutely.
It basically grew out of our love for vodka.
They were never a drug band. They were never, like the American bands all want to get high. They like to drink.
We had discovered this lovely after-dinner drink called Jägermeister. There was a certain opiate in it that got you extremely violent.
You'd have people like literally walking into walls, taking their clothes off. I mean, this stuff was lethal.
Standing up on the bar, taking a piss, whatever, getting your nuts out at a restaurant.
I guess it's sort of like a East Bay attitude, crush, kill, destroy, smash.
You know, whatever the bill was, it was all worth it. It's all rock and roll. It's all being on tour.
Su vida desordenada y caótica cuando estaban de gira no afectaría en nada el ritmo de Metallica, y en la primavera de 1986 la banda sacaría su tercer álbum, Master of Puppets, el cual vendería 1 millón de copias sin que la radio o los videos musicales intervinieran. Luego hicieron una gira de 6 meses con Ozzy Osbourne. Sería la última vez que actuarían como grupo soporte.
They really give me a run for my money. Every night the crowd were going nuts for them, you know, stealing the show most of the night. They were really hard to follow.
Durante las giras, Metallica caía en los excesos propios del rock and roll.
And when you're 22 years old and all you want to do is get laid and get drunk and live all those excesses that you hear about or read about, and all of a sudden they're right in front of you.
We'd come right off stage into the showers and there'd be, you know, a whole locker room shower filled with women. I mean, how great is that?
That happened. Plenty. Tub tarts, shower, 8 women washing you down at once, you know? Not a bad feeling.
You have a real sense of invulnerability when you're on tour because you're with this group of people, you know, a group of guys, and you really become, seriously, you feel like Superman. You're on this bus, nothing can touch you.
Pero la travesía salvaje de Metallica muy pronto llegaría a su fin. El 27 de septiembre de 1986, la banda viajaba en autobús desde Estocolmo hasta Copenhague.
On that European tour, you know, we had a really bad bus.
These particular buses weren't purpose-built that we have now. They have normal windows like a passenger coach, and the bunks are just bolted in. Then they put cardboard over the windows.
Esa noche se entabló una disputa amistosa entre Kirk y Cliff de cómo pasarían la noche. Todo concluyó con un juego de cartas.
The first card that Cliff picked was the ace of spades, and he looked at me and said, "I want your bunk." And I said, "Fine, take my bunk, I'll sleep up front. That's probably better anyway, you know." Later on that night, about 5 or 6 in the morning, I heard a skidding, I heard a vibration, and then this motion. I thought we were going off a cliff.
He overcorrected to get back onto the road, and as he did, the back end came around this way, and it started chomp, chomp, chomp.
It's the sound of screeching brakes and being flipped around like a piece of clothes in a dryer.
Just got woke up, like hot coffee getting poured all over me, you know, from the coffee machine, and, you know, the bus was on its side.
What happened? Is the bus gonna blow up?
Oh, I jumped out of the bus and took off. Did the 100-yard dash in about 7 seconds flat.
And we're standing out there in our underwear and, you know, 10 below.
And I heard everyone screaming except for Cliff. And I thought, oh my God, something's wrong.
Seeing the bus driver just, you know, freaking, frantic.
And I turned around and I saw Cliff's legs sticking out from underneath the bus.
I went to, you know, pull him out, wake him up or whatever. It's like, you know, he's not moving.
And the driver walked over and started pulling on the blanket that was underneath the bus next to Cliff. And I said, "What are you doing?"
I grabbed him. Don't you take that away from him.
En contra de todas las posibilidades, la banda tenía la esperanza de que Cliff estuviera vivo.
A crane turned up, a big crane with a jib and all that, and they hooked a chain around the bus, and they picked the bus up.
There were still people trapped under the bus, but everyone else was okay.
I don't know if Cliff was dead at this point or not, because the bus actually slipped back after they picked it up. They lifted it to pull him out, and it slipped back and landed again on the floor.
After that, you know, I was in such shock that everything else for the next 3 or 4 hours, I can't even remember.
Kirk and James yelling at the driver.
"What did you do? What did you do?"
What happened? You know, what's going on? You know, is this guy drunk or la la la? Oh, we hit some black ice. And I recall in my underwear, you know, and socks, walking for miles, looking for this black ice, walking back on. Where's this black ice? I don't see any black ice. And I wanted to kill this guy. I was gonna end him there.
Un sábado en la mañana del 27 de septiembre de 1986, Cliff Burton moría en la carretera cerca de Jhonn, Suecia. Tenía 24 años.
He just got thrown out the window and boom, the bus landed on him. And basically, by all accounts, I mean, he never woke up.
You know, to this day, I just think, you know, it could have been me, it couldn't have been me, but it's never left me to this day.
You always feel protected on tour. Nothing bad can happen like this. It's not allowed. You know what I mean? This is rock and roll, man. Nobody dies. But they do, and it had happened, and it was hard to grasp that.
Drinkers we were. We went back to the hotel and just drank, you know?
I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, I could hear James down on the street, drunk, screaming, Cliff, Cliff, where are you? And when I heard that, I just broke into tears, you know?
Horas después del accidente, la noticia de la muerte de Cliff llegó a sus seguidores en Norteamérica. Uno de esos seguidores era el bajista Jason Newsted.
I remember tears hitting the newspaper. Killed in Sweden, Metallica bassist Cliff Burton, 24 years old or whatever, and I'm just lost it.
Lars, James y Kirk regresaron a San Francisco para asistir al funeral de su amigo y compañero de banda.
Lars took over from then on, and you know, in all fairness to Lars, without Lars Ulrich, that band wouldn't be where they are today.
Con la presión inmediata de una gira al Japón programada para el mes siguiente, la banda realizó una audición con 40 bajistas de San Francisco.
I can remember those auditions just being really, really bad because we were drinking throughout the whole thing. We were still grieving, obviously.
We tried out quite a few people. Les Claypool from Primus was actually one of them.
Lars was all, you're not used to playing this kind of music, are you? And I was like, no, hey, you know, you guys want to jam on some Isley Brothers tunes, you know? And nobody laughed at my joke.
He was too good. He was like, okay, you get your own thing, you know.
They never called me, and I wept. Wept like a little girl.
Well, a guy would come in that just didn't look right or whatever, plug the bass in for 20 seconds, next. I mean, it was cold. And I'm just going whole, I was shaking in my boots.
Jason, we thought, was the man.
Kind of the punter vibe, but he had the energy that we were looking for. We sat down and we decided he's going to be the guy, so we took him to this place, Tommy's Joint in San Francisco, where we kind of like to hang, and took him out to grub, and Lars and I went in the bathroom to piss together. It's like, let's go tell him now, okay.
Lars comes out, do you want a job? And I go, nah, I guess. And he goes, okay, you're gonna be bass roadie. And I'm like, you know, like, he goes, no, you got it, man, you're in. You wanna play with us? And I'm like, Shah!
Jason's jumping off the table and doing backflips and all this stuff. It's like, okay, all right, man, you know. But soon after that was the hazing.
We gave him a pretty tough time because we didn't want him to think that he just like waltzed into a perfect situation, you know?
And then when a period of calm hits, that's when the reality starts setting in. And then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And then the emotions start coming out.
You know, I hate to say this, but Jason became the scapegoat for you know, the tragic loss that we had just experienced with Cliff.
Con el fantasma de Cliff Burton aún pesando sobre la banda, Metallica se embarcó hacia Japón en el otoño de 1986. Pero para Metallica y su nuevo bajista, la transición fue muy dura.
We were all trying to see his boiling point, you know, or how much he can take, you know.
We told everyone he was gay. We would go out to the hotel bar and like buy drinks for everyone and charge it to Jason's room.
And then we went to sushi that night. Jace, that green stuff, it's mint sauce. Put some of that, you'll love it. Wasabi.
But he kept walking into every single landmine, every single trap we set for him. And that just made it more and more fun.
Part of loving him means that he has to accept us for who we are, which is not easy.
I mean, everyone thinks, wow, this guy's landed the greatest gig, etc. On the one hand, yes, but on the other hand, think of all the baggage that he's got to plow through, plus he's got those three.
Todavía lamentando la pérdida del bajista Cliff Burton, Metallica encontró una forma de exteriorizar su ira y frustración en el estudio de grabación. Su álbum, Justice for All, fue un álbum progresivamente violento y frenético que hablaba sobre la muerte del sueño americano. Encontró una respuesta inmediata en los seguidores del heavy metal.
With Metallica, people truly feel a part of something. They feel a part of a unit, they feel a part of an army. They really are into participating with everybody else in making this big noise back to us. Sometimes so intense that it's louder than the PA system.
They'll leave a venue like at 4 o'clock in the morning and there's kids still waiting out there. It doesn't make a difference how tired they are. They'll talk to every single one, sign every single piece of paper. They're incredibly gracious and generous, and their fans know it and appreciate it.
We're just 4 lucky fans that got together and started playing. this could be you.
En octubre de 1990, Metallica entró al estudio para grabar su quinto álbum con un productor nuevo, Bob Rock.
So I saw them live, and I was very surprised to see how powerful they were.
He came to us and said, look, you haven't captured what you're capable of on a record yet.
So I just wanted them to sound better. And basically, by sounding better, hopefully the audience would get bigger and more people could get into Metallica.
Say your prayers, little one, don't forget my son, to include everyone.
El proceso de grabación tomó cerca de 10 meses y costó más de $1 millón. Peor aún, las fatigantes sesiones estuvieron plagadas de diferencias creativas y personales.
Throughout the whole recording, we were so anal about everything, so protected about everything, so guarded about everything, that it created a lot of tension.
We forgot why we were there, to create and play music.
By the time the album was finished, 3 out of 4 of us were divorced.
Luego de sobrevivir a esa pesadilla, Metallica emergería como una banda más fuerte y mejor. En agosto de 1991 lanzaron su quinto álbum llamado Metallica. La portada reforzó la idea de que no existe otro comportamiento diferente al de Metallica. Carátula negra, logo negro, ninguna explicación.
We've got a bone to pick with these two. You know, it's called Black Album. It's called Black Album. Now, where did the idea come from to do an all-black album, Metallica representatives?
El álbum negro ocupó el primer lugar en los listados y ganó 2 discos de platino en menos de 2 semanas. Alcanzó a vender 18 millones de copias por todo el mundo, atrayendo una enorme cantidad de fanáticos al no comprometido mundo del heavy metal.
When you have a record that won't go away, it gives you the opportunity to keep touring on it.
Basically turned into a challenge for us, another challenge. Hell, Metallica, we'll tour 2 years. Screw it. We got the endurance.
Metallica viajó sin parar durante 2 años, tocando en más de 300 fechas por el mundo entero.
Obviously, they're known for touring and touring and touring and touring, but in this kind of music, they proved to be the ultimate road dogs.
Since day one, that's how we got our fan base. We got to love playing live, and touring was our thing.
La banda hizo escala en Moscú, donde tocó frente a una multitud de 500,000 rusos fanáticos del rock and roll.
Russian boys running up, hugging you, going, we love Metallica, you know. We've been waiting our whole lives, and the energy that we got from them was just so amazing.
Pero en medio del despertar de la perestroika, el entusiasmo del público chocó violentamente con las autoridades militares rusas. La violencia irrumpió.
It's all military, beating kids down, just whacking them. They don't know, they don't understand what a release is at a show. They don't know what's going on here.
Durante el concierto la banda no supo del caos que se formó. Cuando terminó, se sorprendió al enterarse que los militares habían irrumpido mientras tocaban.
I believe there was like 200 rapes, 11 deaths, people just beaten to a pulp.
En la primavera de 1992 planearon una gira junto con Guns N' Roses.
We wanted to get the 2 biggest bands together on one bill and do a stadium tour across America.
I'd always had an infatuation with Guns N' Roses. Always had an infatuation with bands that are unpredictable and dangerous.
We learned a lot that summer. We learned what not to do as a rock band.
La trágica gira estuvo plagada de cancelaciones y cambios de última hora debido a los problemas de garganta del cantante de Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose. Luego, el 8 de agosto de 1992, las 2 bandas estaban dando un concierto en el Estadio Olímpico de Montreal cuando sobrevino el desastre.
During Fade to Black, I'm up there playing the part, and these colored flames are going off. I'm a little confused on where I should be. I walk forward, I walk back.
We have these flashes of magnesium that burns at 1,200 degrees, 1,800 degrees, who knows, but hot enough to melt metal.
The pyro guy doesn't see me that I've walked back out there. A big colored flame goes right up under me. And instantly I, squint and turn.
James Hetfield looks like that torch that they carry up the stairs to light the Olympic fire.
So I'm burnt, all my arm, my hand completely down to the bone, side of my face, hair gone, part of my back.
I said, "You all right, man?" He looked at me and he was shaking. and he brought up his hand, and I could literally see the skin rising off his hand and blister.
We see some guy come up and dump him with water and then cover him.
Oh, that felt great for a second. Then I looked down and watched the skin just rising and things going wrong.
Total confusion, and adding to the mix, you know, 50,000 people.
This is in Montreal, French speaking everywhere. We're trying to explain what's going on. Can we get to a hospital, please? A hospital, yes.
And his skin is bubbling like on the Toxic Avenger.
They're calling, you know, for an ambulance, and you know the security guys are kind of walking around, and the one guy bumps into my hand, I remember, and I just lost it. I screamed, I punched him right in the nuts.
I'm going, oh my God, it's over. Oh my God, our band is done.
Lars tomó el micrófono para calmar a una turba agitada y furiosa.
There was an incident with the pyrotechnics. Unfortunately, James is on his way to the hospital right now, and we're very sorry, but we can't continue the concert for you guys tonight.
This is pain I've never felt in my whole life. And it won't go away. I'm freaking at this point, you know. Anxiety, you know. We got to get moving.
We got him into ER. The doctors and nurses, they were great. They cut off his rings, his fingers were swelling. It was not a pretty sight. Because with the pain he was still going through, and the unknown future that this was pointing the way to, one of his first thoughts was getting a replacement guitar guy to make sure the tour didn't have to stop.
James sufrió quemaduras de segundo y tercer grado en su mano izquierda y ambos brazos. Se había parado encima de una torre de 4 metros de altura que lanzaba una llamarada de 3.200 grados y había sobrevivido. Pero su futuro con la banda era incierto. Entre tanto, en el estadio, la multitud esperaba ansiosa la presentación de Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses could have come out and saved the day by going on and playing a 3-hour blistering set.
That didn't happen. He took his whole band off stage, and that's when all hell broke loose.
A continuación, la frustración lleva a que el público destruya el estadio de Montreal.
People just storming into the grandstands and destroying everything.
Fighting the police, burning everything inside.
Luego Metallica pule su imagen, más no su espectáculo.
Metallica is all about music, not the length of our hair.
Cuando detrás de la música continúe.
Again for you as soon as we can within the next couple of months. Thank you, Montreal. We're sorry, okay?
El 8 de agosto de 1992, James Hetfield sufre quemaduras severas después de haberse parado sobre una torre de fuego en el Estadio Olímpico de Montreal. Horas más tarde, Guns N' Roses sube al escenario liderados por su cantante Axl Rose.
He could have been the hero of the day, you know. We continue the show, and you know the band plays on, and we're here to bring music, and he throws this fit.
Axl's monitor system wasn't to his liking. Then Storm 2 of the evening kind of happened.
He'd said something into the mic and just threw it down and walked off stage. Axl didn't want to be outdone. And that's when all hell broke loose.
So the kids start freaking, turning over cop cars, fighting the police, burning everything inside.
People just storming into the grandstands and destroying everything. Some cars were on fire, there were people hurt, and we couldn't leave.
I go and light myself on fire, and he upstages me.
And so we went into the dressing room, you know, and they're acting like nothing happened.
Axl's down there with the cigarette holder in one hand and the champagne glass in the other. So my voice is giving me trouble. Your voice is giving me trouble. You shouldn't probably be drinking or smoking.
And it reminded me of what it must have looked like when Rome burned and Nero played a fiddle.
We can relate to Axl and his attitude, you know. So we learned quite a bit on what not to do.
Isn't it funny how history has almost erased Guns N' Roses? One of the great frontmen in the past 20 years disappeared, yet Metallica continues to play anywhere in the world in front of any mass of people, comes out with a new record which will always go platinum. They are the Led Zeppelin of this generation.
Una vez dado de alta, el día después de la revuelta en el estadio de Montreal, Hetfield comenzó su terapia, un doloroso ritual que duraría 90 minutos diarios. Muchas semanas pasarían para que pudiera hacer un movimiento y menos tocar la guitarra.
This is not going to bring us down, you know. This is going to take a lot more than that to stop Metallica. We got a friend out to fill in. It's like, you know, I could still sing.
At the time, it was like he wasn't sure that he was going to ever play again.
So Jhonn Marshall has been our savior quite a few times. So it pays, you know, if you're a roadie, Learn the band's songs. You could end up on stage with them.
He was very, very, very motivated to heal himself as quickly as possible. And James is the kind of guy who doesn't like letting people down.
We've asked a lot from James Hetfield as a band, as people, and he's delivered every time.
It was always, I'm going to play. This is my life, and I don't care what happens. I'm going to continue.
Luego de 2 años y medio de gira continua, en el verano de 1993, Metallica aceptó tomar unas vacaciones, un descanso abierto. Kirk estudió cine y artes asiáticas en la Universidad del Estado en San Francisco. Lars continuó con sus clases de buceo y se entregó de lleno a la escenografía. Jason creó nuevas canciones y James encontró nuevos pasatiempos.
Safer hobbies like hunting, and now I got a motorcycle, hot rods, and wakeboarding, snowboarding. Plenty of outdoor danger. I love it. Live for it.
Cuando se reunieron un par de años después, en 1995, estaban más fuertes que nunca. En el estudio se notaba una revitalización y un nuevo espíritu de colaboración.
There was a total sense of respect and a total sense of being at ease with what the other person was bringing into it.
Let's lay back a little bit. Let's let Jason and Kirk play what they feel. Instead of we're standing over behind them, tapping them on the shoulder. That note, no. I didn't write that note for you. It was stiff, man.
It's all down to him if we're going to know.
Lyrics are the bottleneck of the whole album.
A continuación, Metallica regresa a las giras.
We've got such a carte blanche at this point. We can play kind of whatever, wherever we want. This freedom is just awesome.
Y una nueva Metallica es acusada de haberse vendido.
Yes, we sell out. Every seat in the house, every time we play, anywhere we play.
Cuando detrás de la música continúe.
En 1980.
En junio de 1996, luego de 5 años, Metallica lanzó su primer álbum realizado totalmente en un estudio de grabación, Low. Aunque fue número 1, el 6º álbum de la banda no fue muy bien recibido.
I can understand, like, this kid has the photo from 1991 from the Black Album. That's my Metallica. The next photo he sees is 5 years later, and it's on this other record that has semen on the cover. And these guys on the back in Cuban pimp suits with martinis and cigars and no hair. Who is that? It says Metallica on there, but I don't recognize these people.
We were doing the Unplugged in New York. They all showed up, all 4 of the guys. They're all sitting in a row, and they all had these new short haircuts and stuff. It was pretty funny. So Mike wrote some stuff on his bass about friends not letting friends get friends' haircuts, because they were all GQ looking and cleaned up and stuff.
Metallica is all about music, not the length of our hair.
We've heard the word sell out, from way back.
Nowadays, I welcome it. Come with me with what you got.
Yes, we sell out. Every seat in the house, every time we play, anywhere we play.
Ahora, después de 2 décadas, Metallica no muestra ninguna señal de fatiga. Con el lanzamiento de su 7º álbum, Reload, en 1998, la banda continúa haciendo lo que más le gusta, tocar en vivo.
The upside is playing with 3 of the greatest musicians I've ever played with in my life, and going out on stage and watching the look on the fans' faces when we play their favorite songs, and just to feed off that energy that comes off the crowd, That's a really amazing thing.
And that's why they keep coming back every time, because we have delivered every time, live. That is our forte, and it will hopefully continue to be for quite some time.
And I think that the biggest accomplishment that we can do is to make that last another 10 or 20 years, and finding a way to stick around and challenging ourselves and challenging our audience. And that, I think, will be the ultimate Metallica accomplishment.
We can play kind of whatever, wherever we want. This freedom is just awesome. There's no stop sign in front of us yet, man. We're gonna roll on, and because like I said, this is family, and we don't know anything else, man. That's it.